We're hitting on 69% of our college basketball bets this season. We went 2-1 again yesterday, and we are going to give you 3 more best bets that you need to take today. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Looking back at Monday, we're taping this on Tuesday night. How we did on Monday, we had a nice 2-1 day in the NBA. Thunder, minus 8.5 versus the Nuggets. Did not play well. Did not perform the way that I was hoping to. I felt off about this one. I said it in the Sunday night video that I thought that the Nuggets would get back at them, and I should have listened to that logic. Forget all the numbers, forget all the stats, forget all the trends. Back-to-back games, you got to go with the team that lost the first time to cover and to maybe even win. So that one didn't hit, but the two that did cash, Rockets minus 4.5 versus the Magic, Knicks minus 1 versus the Kings. Overall, we are 31, 17, and 1. In college basketball, we are 22 and 10. In NBA, we are a fantastic 8, 3, and 1. But college basketball, it is tournament time, which means we are only talking tournament games until we get to March Madness. And once we get to March Madness, we're only doing March Madness picks, of course, in the middle of the week. We're not going to be doing that, but we've got so many awesome matchups. First, being Cincinnati versus Iowa State. Iowa State is favored by 8.5 points, and we are going to take the Cyclones to cover those 8.5. So far this season, Iowa State is 18 and 13 against the spread. Cincinnati is 14 and 16. Iowa State has been a reliable covering team for us for the most part, especially in these matchups against weaker teams in the conference. Now, another thing that I like about this Iowa State team compared to Cincinnati, and by the way, this is my favorite bet of the day. The other two require a little bit of judgment, a little bit of mental gymnastics to kind of make us feel good about where we're going. They could really kind of go either way, but this one I absolutely love, and I think that this one is the lock of the day. Iowa State is 110th in three-point shooting. Cincinnati is 251st. Massive disparity. Iowa State is 48th in shooting efficiency. Cincinnati is 137th. Massive disparity. There is just too much of a gap for me to not pay attention to it for how these two teams shoot. So Iowa State, the Cyclones, they are covering that 8.5. Next game, Oklahoma versus Georgia, minus 2.5. The Bulldogs are favored. And we are going to go with Oklahoma to cover those 2.5 points, plus 2.5. Georgia is the better rebounding team, 83rd in the country compared to Oklahoma, which is 302nd. However, there is a massive, big gap between these two teams in the quality of shooting that they have. Oklahoma is 50th in three-point shooting. Georgia is 203rd in the country. And Oklahoma is 16th in shooting efficiency. Georgia is just 73rd. So I'm feeling strong on a lean towards taking Oklahoma to cover 2.5 points. Lastly, Iowa versus Ohio State. Ohio State is favored by 5.5 points. We, in this situation, are going to take Iowa plus 5.5. Ohio State is awful defensively. They are 329th in points per game allowed. I don't know how much worse you can get. Well, quite literally being last in the country, but they're not. But still, for a team that's above 500 to be 329th in points per game allowed is insanely abysmal. Iowa is 13th in points per game offensively this season. Pretty big gap right there. Iowa this year is 25th in three-point shooting. Ohio State is 33rd. Not a big gap, but just a noticeable one. But where we get a little bit wider, Iowa 17th in shooting efficiency. Ohio State is 56th. So I think that Iowa is going to have an easy time hitting buckets, scoring points, that at the very least, they can cover that 5.5 point spread. I like how big this spread is so that even if they lose and they climb back, they end up covering. Let me know in the comments, who else are you betting on today in college basketball? Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll talk to you later.